Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum, dear student. Today our lecture is agreement opposed to public policy, wagering agreement, and performance of the contract. So before going to start our today's lecture, first of all we will revise the previous lecture. In previous lecture we have learned about uh, free consent, undue influence, coercion, fraud, misrepresentation, and at the end of the last lecture we have learned about the capacity to contract. So what is free consent? Free consent in terms of section 13 of the act, two or more persons are said to have consented when they agree upon the same thing in the same manner. So this is simply the free consent, and in free consent the parties regarding nature of transaction or person dealt with are subject matter of agreement. In such cases there would be no consent. However, cases of fundamental errors have to be distinguished from cases of mutual mistakes. So there are some rules and regulation, and we have discussed in detail about the free consent. Then we have discussed about the consent is when the consent is not free, in which cases the consent would not be free. So we discussed one by one. Number one is coercion. Coercion is the committing or threatening to commit any act forbidden by the Pakistan Penal Code, or the unlawful detaining or threatening to detain any property to the prejudice of any person, whatever, with the intention of causing any person to enter into an agreement. So simply coercion means that through forcefully or through threatfully somebody trying to forbidden someone and to say somebody to do some act or not to do some act. So this is coercion. And if the consent, if there is a contract with coercion, so it would be voidable. But the contract with mistakes would be void, and the all other contracts with coercion, with misrepresentation, with fraud would be voidable, and it would be on the option of one party that can be break the contract. Then we have discussed about the undue influence, section 16. A contract is said to be Then we have discussed about the undue influence, section 16. A contract is said to be induced by undue influence where the relations subsisting between the parties are such that one of the parties is in a position to dominate the will of the other and uses their position to obtain an unfair advantage of the other. So simply undue influence means this. And then we have discussed in detail the some rules and regulation related to undue influence. Then we have discussed about what is the difference between the coercion and undue influence, and we have discussed number of points like nature of action, involvement of the criminal action. So, in nature of action, coercion involves physical force and sometimes only threat, while an undue influence involves only moral pressure. And involvement of criminal action, coercion involves committing or threatening uh, to commit any act for prohibited, forbidden by law, detention or threatening to detain a person or property. In undue influence, there is no such illegal act involved. Uh, in coercion, there need not be any relationship, but in undue influence, there must be a relationship. Uh, Coercion need not proceed from the promissor, but undue influence is always exercised by one or the other, both or whom are parties to contract. Uh, and then we have discussed about the enforceability, position on benefits received. So number of things we have discussed. Then we have discussed about the fraud. In the terms of section 17 of the act, a fraud means and includes any of the following act committed by a party to a contract or with his convenience or by his agent with intent to deceive another party thereto or his agent or to induce him to enter into the contract. So that would be considered as the fraud. Then we have discussed the some rules and regulation related to the fraud in detail. Then we have discussed about the misrepresentation, section 18. Misrepresentation does not involve deception but is only an assertion of something by a person which is not true though he believes it to be true. So misrepresentation could arise because of innocence of the persons making it or because he lacks sufficient or reasonable ground to make it. So that would consider as the misrepresentation. Then we have discussed about the capacity to contract. The consultation is who is competent to contract. Every person who has attained the age of majority and is of a sound mind and is not otherwise disqualified from any contracting is competent to contract. And what is the age of majority? According to the majority is regulated by the Pakistan Majority Act. Every person domiciled in Pakistan shall attain the age of majority on the completion of 18 years of age and not before. So simply what and then we have discussed about the law relating to the minor's agreement position of the minor. So a contract made with or by a minor is void ab initio. At the start, it would be considered as the void because there would no minor can enter into a contract due to his minority, and no ratification after attaining majority. Minor can be a beneficiary. We have discussed a minor can always plead a minority. Liability of the necessaries, and then we have discussed the contract by guardian, how for enforceable. No specific performance, no insolvency. Minors can be an agent. We have discussed in detail everything. So in today's lecture we will discuss about the agreements opposed to public policy, wagering agreement and the performance of the contract. So following are the agreements opposed to public policy. Number one, trading with enemy. Any trade with person owing allegiance to a government at war without the license of the government of is void is the subject is opposed to public policy. So जो भी कोई मतलब ये कि जो है ना वो एग्रीमेंट किसी ऐसी गवर्नमेंट के साथ करेगा जिसके साथ जो है ना हमारी गवर्नमेंट की जो है ना वो लड़ाई हो रही हो, एट वॉर होगी, तो गवर्नमेंट की परमिशन के बगैर, तो वो जो है ना वो अपोज दी पब्लिक पॉलिसी होगा एंड दैट वुड बी कंसिडर्ड एज that would be considered as a void. Stifling prosecution, an agreement to stifle prosecution, that is an agreement to prevent proceeding already instituted from running their normal course using force, tends to be a perversion or any abuse of justice. Therefore such an agreement is void. The principle is that one should not make a trade of felony. So nobody can make a trade of crime. Felony mean crime, and stifling mean that somebody is trying to interfere in the proceeding and try to uh, push up the proceeding with force. That would be considered as the void. मतलब कोई बंदा किसी भी प्रोसिक्यूशन को तेज़ करने के लिए अपना प्रेशर डाल के उसके अंदर जो है ना वो करेगा, तो वो जो है ना वो void कहलाएगा, ठीक है. या उसको जो है ना वो एन एग्रीमेंट टू प्रेजेंट प्रोसीडिंग ऑलरेडी इंस्टीट्यूट, जब ऑलरेडी एक केस चल रहा है तो उसको वो किसी भी तरीके से प्रेशराइज करा के उसको जल्दी कराने की या ख़त्म कराने की भी जो है ना वो कोशिश करता है, तो दैट वुड कंसिडर्ड एज अ क्राइम. मेंटेनेंस एंड चैम्पेंट्री. मेंटेनेंस इज एन एग्रीमेंट in which a person promises to maintain suit in which he has no interest. Chambantry is an agreement in which a person agrees to assist another in litigation in exchange of a promise to hand over a portion of the proceeds of the action. तो यहाँ पर आसान अल्फाज में मैं आपको ये बताऊँ कि जी जो है ना वो केसेस, मतलब ये कि जी ऐसे लोग होते हैं कि जी जो है ना वो ऐसे वकला भी होते हैं, ऐसे लॉयर भी होते हैं, वो क्या करते हैं कि जी जो है ना वो कहते हैं कि जी जो है ना वो दूसरे वकील के साथ मिल जाते हैं, कहते हैं कि जी जो है वो मैं जो है ना वो डिलेइंग टैक्टिक्स यूज़ करूँगा या मैं तुम्हें असिस्ट करूँगा, केस तुम जीत जाओगे तो जो है ना वो जो पैसे होंगे वो फिर हम उसको जो है ना वो आपस में जो है वो आप कुछ मुझे जो है ना वो शेयर दे दोगे. में मीन्स कि ही Chambantry is an agreement in which a person agrees to assist another in litigation in exchange of a promise to hand over a portion of the proceeds of the action. Simple. आसान अल्फाज. Traffic relating to public offices. An agreement to traffic in public office is opposed to public policy as it interferes with the appointment of a person best qualified for the service of the public. Public policy requires that there should be no money consideration for the appointment to an office in which the public is interested. So any office that is related to the public and for the benefit of public, and the appointment of any person related to the public office, and if there is money involved, if there is anything pressure involved, that would be considered as the void agreement. Agreements tending to create monopolies. Agreements having for their object the establishment of monopolies are opposed to public policy and therefore void. ऐसे एग्रीमेंट्स जो है ना वो कराना का जी जिसके अंदर अपनी जो है ना वो अजारादारी हो, अपनी जो है ना वो अजारादारी कायम करने के लिए जो है ना वो कोई भी बंदा जो है ना वो करेगा, तो दैट वुड कंसिडर एज अ वाइड. मैरिज ब्रोकरेज एग्रीमेंट्स. एन एग्रीमेंट टू नेगोशिएट मैरिज for reward which is known as a marriage brokerage contract is void as it is opposed to public policy. For instance, an agreement to pay money to a person hired to procure a wife is opposed to public policy and therefore void. जो लोग जिन लोगों ने मैरिज बैरो जो है ना वो बनाए हुए होते हैं और वो जो शादियाँ जो है ना वो करवाते हैं और फिर उस पर जो है ना वो क्या कहते हैं कमीशन जो है ना वो हासिल करते हैं, दैट इज़ इलीगल, दैट इज़ वॉइड, दैट इज़ अनलॉफुल. तो आसान अल्फाज में हमारे यहाँ पाकिस्तान में बल्कि पूरे वर्ल्ड के अंदर ये सिस्टम जो है ना वो चलता है. लोग क्या करते हैं कि जी जो है ना वो क्या कहते हैं कि जी जो है ना वो शादियाँ करवाने के लिए जो है ना दो पार्टीज़ के दरमियान में जो है ना वो किरदार अदा करते हैं. तो अकॉर्डिंग टू इस्लाम भी ये जायज़ नहीं है कि जी आप किसी के बेनिफिट के लिए जो है ना वो ये मॉरल काम है, तो मॉरलिटी भी इस चीज़ को इजाज़त नहीं देती. एंड एनी एग्रीमेंट कि जी आप उसके दरमियान में ये एग्रीमेंट करें कि जी आप उसके बाद मुझे जो है ना वो इतने पैसे पे करेंगे तो मैं आपकी जो है ना वो शादी करवा दूंगा और मैं एज अ जो है ना वो मीडिएटर के तौर पे काम करूंगा, तो दैट वुड बी कंसिडर्ड एज अ वॉइड. Interference with the course of justice. An agreement whose object is to induce any judicial officer of the state to act partially or corruptly is void, as it is opposed to public policy. An agreement which contemplates the use of underhand means to influence legislation is void. तो जहाँ पे जो है ना वो क्या कहते हैं, कोई भी बंदा किसी जस्टिस के दौरान, लिटिगेशन के दौरान, किसी भी जो है ना कोर्ट प्रोसीडिंग में इंटरफेयर करेगा थ्रू किसी भी मीन्स, तो वो जो है ना वो क्या कहते हैं कि जी जो है ना वो वॉइड है, वो एग्रीमेंट दैट कंसिडर वुड बी वॉइड. So that would oppose the public policy. That's why it would be considered as the void interference with the course of justice. Number 8, interest against obligation. The following are examples of agreement that are void as they tend to create an interest against obligation. The object of such agreements is opposed to public policy. An agreement by an agent to receive without his principal's consent compensation from another for the performance of his agency is invalid. For example, A, who is the manager of a firm, agrees to pass a contract to X if X pays to A's uh, 2 lakh privately. The agreement is void. So this is simply mean आप ये समझ लें कि जी जो है ना वो ये एक तरह का फ्रॉड भी इसको आप जो है ना वो कह सकते हैं. आप इसको इट्स मीन दैट समबडी इज़ डिसीविंग, और किसी दूसरे की जो है ना वो उसका नाजायज़ फ़ायदा उठाना, एंड समबडी इज़ ट्राइंग टू make commission, make money through illegal means, that would considered as void. Number 9, consideration unlawful in part. The general rule is that where the legal part of a contract can be served from the illegal part, the bad part may be rejected and the good one can be retained, but where the illegal part cannot be served, the part is altogether void. सो किसी भी कॉन्ट्रैक्ट के अंदर जो है ना वो एक हिस्सा जो है ना वो इलीगल हो, अनलॉफुल हो, बुरा हो, और एक अच्छा हो, तो सिंपल सी बात ये कि ये बुरे को, जो बुरा पार्ट है वो जो है ना वो वॉइड होना चाहिए. वो जो है ना वो जो क्रिमिनल पार्ट है, जो मतलब ये कि जी जो है ना वो गलत पार्ट है, जो पब्लिक पॉलिसी को अपोज कर रहा हो, जिससे माशरे को नुकसान हो रहा हो, तो वो जो है ना वो तो उसको जो है ना वो नल एंड वाइड करार दे दिया जाए. लेकिन उस एक बुरे पार्ट की वजह से जो जो अच्छा पार्ट है वो भी जो है ना वो ऑल टुगेदर द पार्ट कैन नॉट बी सर्व, द कॉन्ट्रैक्ट इज़ ऑल टुगेदर वाइड. तो सारा ही कॉन्ट्रैक्ट जो है ना वो वाइड होगा. तो इट्स मीन इफ़ देयर इज़ एनी कॉन्ट्रैक्ट और एग्रीमेंट, द होल एग्रीमेंट वुड बी राइट, then it would be considered as legal contract or valid contract. Otherwise it would be considered as void. Number 10, agreement in restraint of marriage. Every agreement in restraint of marriage of any person other than a minor is void. So if a person being a major agrees for good consideration not to marry, the promise is not binding and considered as void agreement. तो अगर जो है ना वो क्या कहते हैं कि जी जो है ना वो किसी को भी जो है ना वो शादी से रोका जाए, माँ सिवाय इसके कि जी वो बच्चा हो, तो किसी भी तरह से जो है ना वो उसको रोका जाए, उसको जो है ना वो मना किया जाए, तो दैट वुड बी कंसिडर्ड एज वॉइड एग्रीमेंट. उसके ऊपर प्रेशर डाल के या किसी और वजह से जो है ना उसकी शादी में जो है ना वो रुकावट बनने वाला बंदा, दैट वुड बी कंसिडर्ड एज वॉइड एग्रीमेंट. Number 11, agreement in restraint of trade. Section 27, agreement by which any person is restrained from exercising a lawful profession, trade or business of any kind is to that extent void, but this rule is subject to the following exceptions. तो आसान अल्फाज के अंदर सेक्शन 27 ऑफ कॉन्ट्रैक्ट एक्ट 1872 ये कहती है कि ये अगर कोई भी बंदा कोई लॉफुल प्रोफेशन, कोई ट्रेड, कोई शॉप, कोई भी काम करना चाहता है, तो वो उसको अगर कोई बंदा रोकता है तो दैट वुड बी कंसिडर्ड एज void. But there are some exceptions, so let us discuss one by one. Where a person sells the goodwill of a business and agrees with the buyer to refrain from carrying on a similar business within specified local limits so long as the buyer or his successor interest carries on a like business therein. Such an agreement is valid. Goodwill is the advantage enjoyed by a person on account of public patronage and encouragement फ्रॉम हैबिचुअल कस्टमर्स. सो जहाँ पे गुडविल की बात हो तो वो जो है ना वो क्या कहते हैं कि जी जो है वो और उनकी अच्छी नीयत हो तो वो जो है ना वो वैलिड होगा. अदरवाइज दैट वुड बी वाइड द लोकल लिमिट्स विद इन विच द सेलर ऑफ द गुडविल एग्रीज नॉट टू कैरी ऑन सिमिलर बिजनेस मस्ट बी रीज़नेबल. तो उसके लिए ज़रूरी ये है कि जी जो है ना वो रीज़नेबल होनी चाहिए. इफ़ दैट वुड बी नॉट रीज़नेबल एंड वुड बी कंसिडर्ड एज वाइड. The Indian Partnership Act 1932, if an outgoing partner makes an agreement with the continuing partner that he will not carry on any business similar to that of the firm within a specified period or within specified local limits, such an agreement, though it in restraint of trade, will be valid if the restrictions imposed are reasonable. Similar under Section 11 of the Act, an agreement between partners not to carry on competing business during the continuance of partnership is valid. So, Partnership Act 1932 में जो है ना वो अगर कोई पार्टनर एक फर्म में अगर कोई पार्टनर ये कहता है कि जी मैं कोई साथ में जो है ना वो कोई बिज़नेस जो है ना वो करना चाह रहा है पार्टनरशिप फर्म के अंदर ही, लेकिन उसका बिज़नेस ऐसा नहीं है कि जी जो है ना वो जो ऑलरेडी एग्जिस्टिंग बिजनेस हो उसके अंदर वो कंपटीटर के तौर पे आ जाए और उससे जो है ना दूसरे पार्टनर्स को नुकसान हो रहा हो, तो दैट वुड बी लीगल एंड लॉफुल. तो ज़रूरी ये और वो उसके लिए जो है ना कोई तरीक़ेकार कोई स्पेसिफाइड किस्म की लिमिट्स जो है ना वो तय हो जाए तो फिर दैट वुड बी लीगल. अदरवाइज दैट वुड नॉट बी illegal and that would be considered as void. An agreement of service by which an employee binds himself during the term of his agreement not to compete with his employer is not in restraint of trade. तो अगर मतलब ये कि जी जो है ना वो एक कंपनी में एक बंदा कोई जॉब कर रहा है या किसी बिज़नेस के अंडर कोई काम कर रहा है तो वहाँ पर वो कोई और काम स्टार्ट कर रहा है तो वो ये यकीन दहानी करा देता है कि जी he gave the surety that he would not compete with his employer, then it would not be considered as restraint of trade. So that would not be considered as void, that would be considered as valid agreement. Number 12, agreement in restraint of legal proceeding. An agreement in restraint of legal proceeding in the one by which any party thereto is restricted absolutely from enforcing his rights under a contract through a court or with abridges the usual period of starting legal proceeding. A contract of this nature is void. तो अगर कोई जो है ना वो लीगल प्रोसीडिंग्स को से किसी बंदे को जो है ना वो रोक दे, हर बंदे का जो है ना वो ये बेसिक फंडामेंटल राइट है. It is the basic fundamental right of every person for legal prosecution, for legal proceeding, and if anyone is trying to restrain somebody for legal proceeding, that would be considered as contract of this nature would be considered as void. Wagering. Now we will discuss about the wagering agreement, section 30. Wagering agreement, section 30, I've already told you about what is wagering mean. शर्त लगाना, कोई मतलब ये कि जी बाजी लगाना, कोई लाइक यू कैन से कि जी जो है ना वो an agreement by way of wager is void. It is an agreement involving payment of sum of money upon the determination of an uncertain event. You can say कि जी the essence of a wager is that each side should stand to win or lose depending on the way any uncertain event takes place, in therefore reference to which the chance is taken and in the occurrence of which neither of the parties has legitimate interest. Like you can say gambling like you can say shart lagana, like you can say lottery, like you can say a number of things during matches के दौरान लोग कह देते हैं कि जी जो है ना वो अगर फ़लाँ मैच जीत गया तो मैं इतनी पेमेंट करूँगा, फ़लाँ हार गया तो मैं इतनी पेमेंट करूँगा, तो दैट वुड बी all these are under the wagering agreement. Simple. So these are according to section 30 of the Indian contract, and these agreements or contracts are void, not legitimate. Essentials of a wager. What are the essentials of a wager? There must be a promise to pay money or money's worth. कि जी वेजरिंग एग्रीमेंट वो होगा जिसमें कि जी मनी की बात होगी, प्रॉमिस होगा कि जी वो मनी पे की जाएगी, ठीक है जी. प्रॉमिस मस्ट बी कंडीशनल ऑन एन इवेंट हैपनिंग और नॉट हैपनिंग, कि जी ये ऐसे होगा या नहीं होगा, आउट हो जाएगा या आउट नहीं होगा, छक्का मारेगा या नहीं मारेगा, सही है, घोड़ा जीतेगा या नहीं जीतेगा. देयर मस्ट बी अनसर्टेनिटी ऑफ इवेंट, ऑफ कोर्स. देयर मस्ट बी टू पार्टीज, ईच पार्टी मस्ट स्टैंड टू विन और लूज, जिसके अंदर दोनों में ये बात होगी कि जी कोई भी पार्टी जीत सकती है या हार सकती है. देयर मस्ट बी कॉमन इंटेंशन टू बी एट द टाइमिंग ऑफ मेकिंग सच एग्रीमेंट. ऑफ कोर्स टाइमिंग भी वहाँ पे मेंशन होगी. पार्टीज शुड हैव नो इंटरेस्ट इन द इवेंट एक्सेप्ट फॉर स्टेक. So these are the essentials of the wagering agreement or contract. Transactions similar to wager. Lottery transactions. A lottery is a game of chance and not of skill or knowledge, where the prime motive of participant is gambling. The transaction amounts to a wager. So simply the lottery transaction would be considered as a wagering agreement, and that is void. Number two, crossword puzzles and competitions. Crossword puzzles in which prizes depend upon the correspondence of the competitor's solution with a previously prepared solution kept with the editor of a newspaper is a lottery and therefore a wagering transaction. So this is also a wagering transaction. So these are the some new things, and hope so you will learn, and hope so you will enjoy and enhance your knowledge about these things, that these are commonly prevail in our society, but all these are unlawful and illegal and immoral and void agreements, like marriage brokers, like lotteries, like crossword puzzles and competitions. Oftenly you see in newspapers, in everywhere in this world. Number three, speculative transactions. An agreement or a share market transaction where the parties intended to settle the difference between the contract price and the market price of certain goods or shares on a specified day is a gambling and hence void. So speculative transaction would be considered as void as well. Horse race transaction or horse race competition where prize payable to the bet winner is less than 500 is wager. So this is also a wager agreement, and this is also unlawful and void as well. Transaction resembling with the wagering transaction but are not void. Some transactions are resembling with the wagering but are not void. That are: number one, chit fund. Chit fund does not in simple अल्फाज में अगर आपको समझाऊँ तो चिट फंड वो चीज़ होती है कि जी जो हम कमेटी डालते हैं, सही है. बहुत से लोग एम्प्लॉयज़ या मोहल्ले के लोग या दुकानदार क्या करते हैं कि जी जो है ना वो हर महीने एक स्पेसिफाइड अमाउंट को जो है ना वो एक बंदे के पास जो है ना वो दे देते हैं. लाइक कि जी 10 बंदे मिलके जो है ना वो 10-10 हज़ार रुपये जो है ना पर मंथ इकट्ठा करते हैं, तो 1 लाख रुपये बनते हैं. तो फिर उसके ऊपर जो है ना वो क्या करते हैं कि जी वो लाख रुपये किसको मिलेगा, एक पर्ची डालते हैं और उसको जो है ना वो निकालते हैं. दैट वुड बी कॉल्ड एज द चिट फंड. एंड चिट फंड डज नॉट कम विद इन द स्कोप ऑफ वेजर. इन case of a chit fund, a certain number of persons decide to contribute a fixed sum of a specified period, and at the end of a month the amount so contributed is paid to the lucky winner of the lucky draw. So this is like wagering but not quite. Commercial transaction or share market transaction. In these transactions in which delivery of goods or shares is intended to be given or taken do not amount to wager. So commercial share markets के अंदर है. Games of skills and athletic competition, crossword puzzle, picture competition and athletic competition where prizes are awarded on the basis of skill and intelligence are the games of skill and hence such competition are valid. ठीक है जी. कुछ क्रॉसवर्ड्स जो है ना वो इलीगल हैं लेकिन कुछ जो है ना वो जायज़ हैं. जो जायज़ हैं वो आपको जो स्किल्स की बेस के ऊपर हैं वो जायज़ हैं, ठीक है, और जो स्किल बेस नहीं है वो जायज़ नहीं है, वो जो है ना वो गैम्बलिंग के अंदर या जो है ना वो शर्त के अंदर आ जाते हैं. A contract of insurance. A contract of insurance is a type of contingent contract and is valid under law, and these contracts are different from wagering agreements. So this is a contingent contract, a contract of insurance. So that is resemble with the wagering agreements, but it is different from the wagering agreement, and this is lawful. So last one, the performance of contract. Basic tenets of performance. In a contract where there are two parties, each one has to perform his part and demands to other to perform. This obligation is the primary tenet. The parties would be treated as having been absolved only under the provision of any law or by the conduct of the other party until such time the performance is neither excused nor dispensed with. Not only the promisor has a primary duty to perform, even the representative in the event of death of a promisor is bound by the promise to perform unless a contrary intention appears from the contract, section 37. So simple, the basic tenets of the performance. By whom a contract may be performed. The promisor under the contract it can be performed by any of the following. Number one, promisor himself. सो जो प्रोमिजार जो प्रॉमिस करने वाला होता है वो प्रोमिजार जो है ना वो कहलाता है और वो जो है ना वो कॉन्ट्रैक्ट को परफॉर्म कर सकता है. इनवेरिएबली द प्रॉमिस हैज़ टू बी परफॉर्म बाय द प्रोमिजार वेयर द कॉन्ट्रैक्ट्स आर एंटर्ड इनटू फॉर परफॉर्मेंस of personal skills or diligence or personal confidence, it becomes absolutely necessary that the promisor performs it himself. सही है जी. तो सबसे पहली चीज़ ये कि जी जो प्रॉमिस करता है वही जो है ना वो कॉन्ट्रैक्ट की परफॉर्मेंस करने का जो है ना वो हकदार ठहराता है और वो ही उसी के लिए ज़रूरी है कि जी वो ही कॉन्ट्रैक्ट को परफॉर्म करे. नंबर टू, एजेंट. वेयर पर्सनल कंसिडरेशन इज़ नॉट द फाउंडेशन ऑफ अ कॉन्ट्रैक्ट, the promisor or his representative can employ a competent person to perform it. ठीक है जी. तो जहाँ पे जो है ना वो क्या कहते हैं जी जो है ना कुछ लोग अपना जो है ना वो एजेंट जो है ना वो आगे जो है ना वो रख लेते हैं काम करने के लिए. तो दूसरे नंबर पे जो है ना वो एजेंट आ जाता है कि जी वो जो है ना वो कॉन्ट्रैक्ट को परफॉर्म करेगा ऑन दी द promisor or his representative, and he would be considered as the representative with the permission of a person. Number 3, representatives. Generally, upon the death of promisor, the legal representatives of the deceased are bound by the promisor unless it is a promise for performance involving personal skill or ability of the promisor. However, the ability of the legal representative is limited to the value of property inherited by them from the promisor. So, if somebody is dead, so on the death of a promisor, his legal representative would be able to perform the contract. Number 4, third person. The question here is whether a total stranger to a contract who is identified as a third person can perform a promise where a promisee accepts performance from a third party. He cannot afterwards enforce it against the promisor. Such a performance, where accepted by the promisor, has the effect of the discharging the promisor, though he has neither authorized nor ratified the act of the third party. So अगर आपने जो है ना वो वंस ये एक्सेप्ट कर लिया कि जी कोई थर्ड पर्सन जो है ना वो परफॉर्म करे कॉन्ट्रैक्ट को, दो पार्टीज़ के दरमियान में अगर कोई बात तय होती है तो फिर बाद में आप उसको जो है ना वो रेटिफाइड नहीं कर सकते, रिजेक्ट नहीं कर सकते, ठीक है। Joint promisors. Where two or more persons jointly promise, the promise must be performed jointly unless a contrary intention appears from the contract. Where one of the joint promisors dies, the legal representatives of the deceased, along with the other joint promisors, is bound to perform the contract. Where all the joint promisors die, the legal representatives of all them are bound to perform the promise, ठीक है जी। तो joint promisors के लिए ये कि जी जहाँ पे जो है ना वो एक से ज़्यादा जो है ना वो प्रोमिसार्स हों तो उनको जिन्होंने जो है ना वो वादा करने वाले हों कि जी वो ये काम करेंगे तो वो जॉइंट प्रोमिसार्स कहलाएंगे। तो वो उनके लिए सब के लिए ज़रूरी है कि जी उनकी कॉन्सेंट होना ज़रूरी है। तो अगर एक मर जाता है तो दूसरा करेगा, और अगर सारे मर जाते हैं तो फिर जो है ना वो लीगल रिप्रेजेंटेटिव ये काम करेगा। द लॉ सेट आउट अबव कैन बी इलस्ट्रेटेड विद द फॉलोइंग एग्जांपल्स। सो ए प्रॉमिस to pay 1000 on delivery of certain goods. A may perform this promise either himself or causing someone else to pay the money to B. If A dies before the time appointed for payment, his representative must pay the money or employ some other person to pay the money. If B dies before the time appointed for the delivery of goods, B's representative shall be bound to deliver the goods to A and A is bound to pay Rs 1000 to B's representative, ठीक है जी। तो पहली बात ये कि जी A ने प्रॉमिस किया B को, तो A ही इंटाइटल है कि जी उसको जो है ना वो 1000 रुपीज़ जो है ना वो पे करेगा B जब गुड्स डिलीवर करेगा। लेकिन अगर वो मर जाता है तो दोनों सूरतों में जो भी मरेगा तो उसके रिप्रेजेंटेटिव के ऊपर बात आ जाती है कि वो रिसीव करेगा या रिप्रेजेंटेटिव जो है ना वो गुड्स को डिलीवर करेगा। सिंपल। ए प्रॉमिस टू पेंट अ पिक्चर फॉर बी फॉर अ सर्टन प्राइस. ए इज बाउंड टू परफॉर्म द प्रॉमिस हिमसेल्फ. He cannot employ some other painter to paint the picture on his behalf. If A dies before painting the picture, the contract cannot be enforced either by A's representative or by B, ठीक है जी। तो जहाँ पर A ने जो है ना वो प्रॉमिस किया कि जी वो पेंट करेगा पिक्चर, तो वो किसी दूसरे पेंटर को नहीं कह सकता। और अगर वो मर जाता है तो फिर आप उसके ऊपर जो है ना वो इम्पोज नहीं कर, किसी दूसरे के ऊपर, उसके रिप्रेजेंटेटिव के ऊपर इम्पोज नहीं कर सकते कि भाई अब आप ये काम करके दो, क्योंकि वो ये काम कर सकता था तो वो उसी ने वो काम करना था आसान। ए डिलीवर सर्टन गुड्स टू बी हु promised to pay Rs 5000. Later on, B expresses his inability to clear the dues. C, who is known to be, pay Rs 2000 to A on behalf of B. Before making this payment, C did tell B nothing about it. Now A can sue B only for the balance and not for the whole amount. So this is a very simple example, you can understand कि जी जो है ना वो जहाँ पे जो है ना वो to A and on behalf of B, before making this payment, C did tell B nothing about it. So he did not tell about this. Now A can only be sued for the balance and not for the whole amount. So that is for today.